I really don't know where I heard this saying that says the best way to find your soul is a drive late at night. Now, to me, it really doesn't make any sense. But I do take a stroll from time to time, especially around 9 or 10 in the evening. I'll usually just drive around town. Most of the times, I'll just take the longest route to my favorite bakery to buy bread. But there are times when I have extra cash in my pocket and my route usually just extends farther from town. I am from a small town called Allen here in the Philippines, and my usual longer route would just be to Katarman, my father's hometown. It's around an hour's drive if you're being fast, but it usually takes me around 2 or 3 hours to get there, and another 3 hours to get back. I usually just drive slow because, it's the drive that I want to enjoy, just thinking about the things that I've messed up. So it's usual for me to be still on the road at around 3 in the morning. That's why I have so many stories about creepy things that have happened to me while I was driving. And it's usually around that time, the witching hour. And this one was the first one I've ever experienced. Now, I mentioned I drive slow, around 40 kilometers per hour. Around, that's about 24 miles per hour? I'm not too sure. And I usually keep my headlights on the low beam. Now, it's one of those nights. The stars are bright, the sky is clear, the air is cold, the night is right. Anyway, I had a few hundred pesos in my pocket back then. If I remember correctly, it was around 250, I think. It's around $5, maybe, roughly, I guess. So that night it was around 10 in the evening when I left home, and I think I arrived at Katarman at around 12 ish or around 1 a.m. And I drove a bit, visited the places I used to sit around when I was in college. And after a few minutes of that, I stopped at the gas station for a bit of gas, just a top up. And then I was on my way home. The drive back home was just uneventful, you know, something you pray when you're driving at night. Uneventful things. Did I mention that moonless nights are exceptionally dark? This one's one of those nights. No, I don't recall what time it was, but I know it was around San Jose when I smelt this metallic fishy scent. You know what I mean? The scent of blood. Now you might be thinking that that's a very strange phenomenon. No, actually, that's usual. I mean, normal. Because sometimes there would be roadkill. You know, things splattered on the road. And the heat of the road just propagates the smell. Now, some superstitious people here usually associate that with an aswang, the mythical creature in Philippine mythology, the one that transforms, eat babies, and all that. But that smell is usually accompanied by human stank. You know, when people sweat, when they're sweating. Don't ask me why I know that. Anyway, this metallic stink of blood doesn't really have an accompanying human smell to it. Rather, it was like a wet dog. You know, the scent of a dog when it's wet. It's kind of like that, but more pronounced, more rancid. Anyway, so I was approaching a crossing when I spotted this large dog thing. I say dog thing because it resembled a dog, but it's not right. I mean, its back legs were longer than it's supposed to be for a dog, and its paws were longer. It wasn't really. They weren't fingers, but they were not paws. I mean, I'm a bit far away, but I could tell this is not a dog. And it was pretty big too. Now, the Philippines doesn't have any big dogs of that kind, wolves and such. But I have seen a big dog, like a Saint Bernard. I used to pass by one to and from school, back in high school. And this thing was right around that size. Now, I'm not saying this thing is an aswang or anything like that. It's just a very strange dog. The reason I say it's not an aswang because its reaction to the headlights was like a dog startled by the headlights. And it didn't chase me. I actually honked my horn at it, so it continued walking. And I watched it disappear into some house alleyways, and I, when I passed it, I just drove as fast as I can, and I didn't look back. I didn't even look at the side mirror because I was afraid it would be chasing me. Luckily, it wasn't. Now, I've never really heard anything bad happening after that night. People dying in the streets like that in San Jose, by the way. So, yeah, I don't think I'd want to meet this thing again. So, this is the road where it happened in San Jose, here in Samar. And this is the crossing I was approaching back then, that night. There wasn't any traffic, and it was really quiet. And this is the spot where I think it came from. And that's the road where I saw it. And those are the houses where it disappeared to. I don't know where it went after that, but yeah. I guess for the ending of this one, I should say be careful when driving late at night. Because aside from potholes, some things might just come jumping out of the bushes right in front of you.